As America marks 250 years since the Declaration of Independence, we're reminded of a simple truth. Our freedom is rooted in the land beneath our boots, and sometimes is protected by the smallest partners of all, the honeybee. For early Americans, farmers like George Washington, the land meant independence. It fed families, built communities, and made freedom possible. 2.5 centuries later, that connection still matters, even if the tools have changed. Here in Klamath Falls, one farmer is giving his land a second chance, with a little help from an unexpected crew.
So I retired. I said, I'm going to raise bees. I'm going to do it. So I got some bees. And I was asked by the local bee club if I wanted to get involved in a feasibility study using bees to assess biodiversity.
When I look back at my family tree and I start looking at an uncle that died of cancer, a sister-in-law died of cancer, 24-year-old nephew had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, diabetes. All of these things start to get you to wonder why. And the common denominator comes back to the farm.
As bees travel across the farm, they collect pollen from every plant they touch. When they return home, they pass through a small opening in the hive. It's just tight enough that a little pollen gets brushed off, falling gently into a tray below.
On the entrance to the hive that the bees land on, then to get in the hive, they have to go through a grid. And there's different size holes in the grid. When they go through a certain size hole, it knocks the pollen out of their pockets. And the pollen falls down into a trap, and only a certain percentage of the pollen they bring back goes into the trap, and the rest they take into the hive.
That pollen becomes a map, a record of what's growing on the land, good, bad, and harmful.
Well, you take that pollen and we send it to Belgium. And in Belgium, they analyze it and tell us every species of plant the bees have visited. They send us pesticides, herbicides, heavy metals, all this data.
The Declaration's promise of life begins with healthy ground beneath our feet. With the bees' help, this farmer knows exactly where to act and where to heal.
I've learned a lot, and our team has learned a lot. We use soil microbes, we use tissue testing, we use a lot of different things that we're able to use, and we've been able to transition those places much faster. In fact, we almost don't have yield loss in the transition now.
Armed with the data, the farmer removes harmful plants and toxins one area at a time. Over just a few years, the land begins to respond. Soil strengthens, crops improve. The farm produces more than ever before.
And it was crazily successful. So we had a baseline with no wetlands. And then every year we get more data.
And it's getting better and better.
We've doubled the plant biodiversity on the farm in 4 years. It tells us great stuff because it'll also say, oh, I've got this invasive plant that I didn't even know we had,
and you can go get
and
it.
I go around and find it and get rid of it.
From 1776 to today, bees have quietly shaped American agriculture. Once valued mainly for honey, they now offer insight powerful enough to restore entire ecosystems.
And what that does, that's not conventional or organic. That's just mimicking nature, the way herbivores run in nature. But what it does is it increases our production by like 300%.
As our founders protected freedom, today we protect the land that makes that freedom possible. In America's 250-year history, the bee has always been small, but never insignificant. Here in Klamath Falls, it's guiding us once again toward healthier soil, stronger farms, and a future worthy of a promise made in 1776.